they're off. Jumping away for the first of 6 races here today, and setting off on this 3-mile journey ahead is Matthew Mann. Up and over fence number 1, around about a length and a half clear. The Fond of a Treat races in second, and Frank's Fancy is the back marker of the trio. Heading away from us, and shortly we'll be on the approach to fence number 2 with Matthew Mann, the 9-year-old who scored at Friars Half last week, showing in front. So in second place on touching down Fond of a Treat, Frank's Fancy, the back marker of the trio. All safely out over the third, and a left-handed turn into the back straight shortly will be upon them. And with the advantage, it is Matthew Mann and the Kit Alexander by around about 2.5 lengths to in second place on touching down Fond of a Treat, and Frank's Fancy remains the back marker of the trio. First of the 2 open ditches in the race now oncoming, and all over it safely, just taking second place Frank's Fancy along the inside of Fond of a Treat as they continue their run over on the far side of the track, although that brief flirtation with second place for Frank's Fancy didn't last all that long, and on the flat in between obstacles Fond of a Treat moves back through to chase Matthew Mann. So Matthew Mann on now towards the next fence along the side of the track, heading back towards us. This son of classic winner Bolin Eric, up and over with a length and a half in hand over Frank's Fancy under Jack Andrews along the inside of Fond of a Treat under John Dawson. So they now make the uphill climb back towards the home straight, where 3 fences will stand in a line, all plain. And out in the lead, it continues to be the white-faced Matthew Mann and Kit Alexander. So swinging on into the home straight for the first time, Matthew Mann, Fond of a Treat. Biggest of the white faces, Fond of a Treat. Also wears a sheepskin noseband. Along his inside is Frank's Fancy. Heading on now to the middle of the 3 fences in the home straight, a steady and sensible early tempo here then being set by Matthew Mann, and 2.5 lengths covering the trio as they near the halfway stage and now come into the wings of the fence, which will be the last in one further circuit. All 3 across it safely and well, and they have 1 full circuit of the track left ahead of them in this, the Newton Hall, Percy, West Percy and College Valley and Northumberland Hunt members, subscribers and farmers race. And Matthew Mann has led for every step of it so far. Kit Alexander more than happy to dictate, especially the highest rated of the 3, given his win back last weekend, and striding out with purpose here on the descent towards the next jumping test. They've moved through their point of departure. Matthew Mann jumping solidly here, and the other 2 continue to go side by side. Frank's Fancy and Fond of a Treat, who no doubt will try and deliver some sort of challenge to Matthew Mann as the race develops. On they head now to the 11th of the 18 fences, and it continues to be Matthew Mann showing in front. Matthew Mann. 2 on the outside, Fond of a Treat, who look to be a little faster over that fence than Frank's Fancy as they came over the 3rd and final obstacle along that stretch, and a left-handed turn into the back straight and on towards the next couple of fences which await them down here. From here they've got around about a mile to go. All 3 crossing that one safely, with still Matthew Mann showing in front. There's been no real dramas as yet. This is the final open ditch. Good jump again from the lead. At that time, Fond of a Treat was in quite close to it and appeared to hit the obstacle rather hard and lost a length or so. But once again, on the flat in between obstacles, Fond of a Treat moves up into second position and is now only a half length or so off Matthew Mann. He's now trying to press on a little bit more under Kit Alexander. 4 more to jump, and they've got about 5 furlongs still to travel. Matthew Mann at 4 out. Jumps well ahead of Fond of a Treat and Frank's Fancy, who continue to pursue him rather closely. Only a length and a half between the three as they now work their way on up the hill, back towards the final half mile of their journey. 3 more plain fences to jump in the home straight. Matthew Mann, who's led all the way so far, tracked into the home straight by Frank's Fancy. The brown sleeves and the orange sleeves and cap out a little bit wider is Fond of a Treat, as they now set their sights on the final line of fences. And here's 3 out they come to. Matthew Mann, a length ahead, now shaken along to try and fend off his pursuers. He's opening up a little bit here, Matthew Mann, to in second place now going at Frank's Fancy. Fond of a Treat has dropped to third, over 2 out. Only a length or so between the leading pair, and Frank's Fancy looks to be a danger to Matthew Mann. Matthew Mann in front, but ridden hard now. Frank's Fancy gets to within 3/4 of a length on the outside. Here's the final fence. Matthew Mann over it a little faster than in second place Frank's Fancy, and it's only a short run in for home. Matthew Mann, Frank's Fancy coming back again, but jumping won it ultimately for Matthew Mann, who out-jumped Frank's Fancy at that final obstacle and looked to hold him by around about a half length or so, with a long break back to Fond of a Treat.